to Book Adventures. September's book is Ivan, the remarkable true story of the shopping mall gorilla, and it's written by Katherine Applegate. Katherine Applegate also wrote a chapter book about Ivan. This one was fiction, and it also was recently made into a Disney movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I hear it's pretty great, so if you enjoy the story you're about to hear, definitely check that out. Here we go with Ivan. Ivan, the remarkable true story of the shopping mall gorilla, by Katherine Applegate and illustrated by G. Brian Karras. In leafy calm and gentle arms, a gorilla's life began. The baby was born in a tropical forest in Central Africa. He was part of a large family of western lowland gorillas. The troop included babies, juveniles, females, and a male leader, the silverback. The more the baby gorilla grew, the more he played. The more he played, the more he learned. He rode on his mother's back. He listened to the hoots and grunts and chest beats of his father. He watched the older gorillas, clever and quick, as they wrestled and chased and swung from vines. He did not learn about humans until it was too late. Poachers with loud guns and cruel hands stole the little gorilla and another baby. After thousands of miles and endless days in a black, damp crate, at last came light and fresh air. The jungle, green with life, was gone. The gorillas had traveled halfway around the world to Tacoma, Washington. A man who owned a shopping mall had ordered and paid for them, like a couple of pizzas, like a pair of shoes. People cooed and laughed and held the babies. They dressed them in human clothes and fed them human food. The shopping mall owner ran a Name the Babies contest. The winning names were Burma and Ivan. One dark day, soon after the babies arrived in their strange new world, Burma died. Without her, Ivan was all alone, with too much left to learn. While he was little, Ivan was cute and cuddly. For 3 years, he lived in a home like a human child. He slept in a bed and went to baseball games. He held babies and rode on a motorcycle. He had to learn many things gorillas in the wild don't ever need to know. The one thing Ivan didn't need to learn was how to eat. The more he ate, the more he grew. The more he grew, the less he could live a human life in a human house. A cage in the mall became Ivan's new home. There wasn't much to do. Sometimes Ivan watched TV. Sometimes he played with an old tire. Sometimes he finger painted, signing the papers with his thumbprint. Mostly, he watched the humans watching him. Ivan was about 13 when his coat began to shimmer with silvery white hairs. He'd grown into a silverback gorilla. In the jungle, he would have been ready to protect his family. But he had no family to protect. Year after year passed. People began to grow angry about Ivan's lonely life. Children and adults wrote letters and signed petitions and held protests. Ivan lived in his cage without the company of other gorillas for 27 years before he was sent on another journey. This time, the hands were gentle. Zoo Atlanta wasn't a jungle. It was a place with walls. Still, the breeze carried jungle sounds and scents. Scientists who understood the needs of gorillas helped Ivan adjust slowly, carefully, gently to his new life. Finally, it was time. Was Ivan ready? Cameras clicked, reporters watched. When Ivan stepped onto the cool green grass, the sunlight gleaming on his silver hair, people cheered and laughed and wept with joy. Ivan, the shopping mall gorilla, was in a place with trees and grass and other gorillas at last. In leafy calm, in gentle arms, a gorilla's life began again. If you picked up a grab-and-go kit from the library, it's craft time. So first, find this drawing of a gorilla, and we are going to make a gorilla mask. All you need to do is cut around the outside, and you don't even have to be really exact. If you want to, you can color first, would be a little easier, and then cut second. You also have a popsicle stick inside the bag. So when you are done, you can have something that looks like this. If you want to cut the eyes out, an easy way to do that is to fold the paper right by the eyes, take your scissors and cut a little slit, and then you can cut out each eye so you can actually see your eyes through your gorilla mask. Like that. Next, if you get out your big pieces of paper like this, you should have 2 of those plus a little piece of scratch paper, and you should have a bunch of paint. Ivan really liked to paint, and he would paint with his fingers a lot and sign each painting with a thumbprint. So you have 2 things that you can do. You can just do some finger painting. Maybe you want to just put some music on, dab your fingers in here, spread all over, see what you can do, maybe sign it with a thumbprint. Awesome. On your other piece of paper though, you can actually sketch out a zoo. So, take your paper and do some planning. You might need a pen, maybe some markers or crayons, and draw out a plan for a zoo. Once that's all done, we can actually make thumbprint or fingerprint animals to go in your zoo. So there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You'll have to do some experimenting, but for example, if you wanted to make a tiger, maybe you'll grab the orange. If you don't want to dip your hands in the paint, you can also use the Q-tips to kind of paint it on. Let's see, paint on, you might have to use a little bit. And before you put this on your actual final zoo, you can use that scratch piece of paper to kind of practice. So maybe you'll do a body and maybe kind of make a smaller print for a head. Make sure you let it dry, and then you can make a tiger of some sort. I'm not a very good artist, so my tiger's kind of looking more like a fat orange cat. But you can do a lot of different animals. You've got red, orange, green, black, yellow, and blue paint. And you can definitely mix colors if you would like. If you need purple, you can do some red and blue together. Maybe you want a purple elephant. Think of the zoo and all the different animals you'd like to visit there. Draw in their locations, their cages or exhibits. And like Ivan and the Atlanta Zoo, make sure you give them lots of natural habitats. Draw in trees and water and other fun things like that. I'd love to see what your finger painting drawing or zoo looks like when you're all done, so don't forget to post a photo. Have fun!